Hello, Aquarius, and welcome to Indigo Rising Tarot. Thank you so much for joining me today, and I hope you're having a great day. This will be your weekly reading for the week of May 11th through the 17th. And during that time, we will have a full moon that comes in on the 12th, and that can be a time of heightened emotions, where you can be prone to being overwhelmed and anxious, maybe snappy and irritable, maybe changes in your sleeping patterns. So just keep that in mind. What that is, it's just a gift for us to practice patience and calm. If you're feeling those things, or if people around you are as well, just a little gift from the universe to make sure that you know how to remain very calm. We will then move into the waning gibbous energy, which of course is a lot calmer. And it's a good time for self reflection and rebirth, a time to make positive changes, maybe get rid of bad habits and negative thinking. So please keep those moon energies in mind as we move through the week. This will be an intuitive general reading for the energies that you may or may not encounter this week, Aquarius. Sorry, my nose is so itchy today. So please take what resonates and leave what doesn't for someone else. All right, your overall message for this reading. Oh, we've got two cards coming out. Of course, we will take them both. A fiery climax approaches is the first card, and you are good enough. Every time I pull that you are good enough card, I want to say, and gosh darn it, people like you, like the whole Stuart Smiley SNL skit. If you're of a certain age, you know what I'm talking about. If you're not, you don't. But you can look it up. All right. And Aquarius, as I'm shuffling, I would like to say that since my readings are free to you, all that I ask in return is that you hit that subscribe button. And if you actually like the reading, you can hit the like button as well. That really does help my channel, and it's super easy for you to do. So I'll give you just a moment as I'm shuffling for you to do that right now. Thank you so, so much. And if you've been a subscriber, thank you for coming back and helping me build a community here. I see you and I appreciate you. So thank you so much. All right. My fun weekly reminder as I'm shuffling still is to learn something new this week. Pick a topic that you've had some interest in and really take time to do a deep dive and focus on it. Maybe set aside some time for yourself, just an hour or two, and study, take notes, think, and just really absorb the thing that you've learned. Sometimes as adults, we just forget to do that. If you're like me, we're learning constantly, but learning about one thing and really just taking the time to focus on it. So that can sometimes get away from us. So that is just my weekly reminder. All right, Aquarius, May 11 through 17. A fiery climax approaches and you are good enough. Let's see what you guys have going on. All right, Knight of Swords. So whatever it is, it's coming in quickly, right? So Knight of Swords is definitely expedient. It's definitely air energy. So this could be, some message that comes in for you. If we're talking about a fiery climax, it could just be that there's some news that comes in. This could also just be an idea, something that comes into your head. So something very, very quickly, very rapidly will be happening. Your current situation is that maybe it's going to bring you some sort of anxiety because here you are asking yourself, how did I get here and how can I get out of it? So, with the Eight of Swords, this is that also it can just be a mental thing. It doesn't you're just thinking through this mentally and you can get out of it. If you look at the, she's not tied up very tightly. That's as soon as you free your hands, you can take this blindfold off and figure out exactly what new step you need to take here. So again, how did you get here and how can you get yourself out of it, more importantly? At the root of your situation. All right, another eight here with the Eight of Cups. So, you've been kind of moving towards something, and because this is cups, this could be something kind of emotional or relationship involved. This could be something with a group of friends. It doesn't have to be just one person, but I feel like maybe something I'm just getting, this is kind of an intuitive thing that is coming in, that there's something with a friend group, something was said or something was done where you're kind of feeling, a little like you need to get out of a situation. That's kind of at the root of it. In your recent past is the Emperor. So in your recent past, you've been a leader. And again, it could be within, I don't know why I'm getting the feeling about a friend group, but I'm going to again, I'm just going to put it out there for some of you who might need to hear that. There's something with a friend group where you have been a leader, and either somebody new is coming in and kind of trying to usurp your place, or something is being said to kind of shake, your role in that structure. And this could be with a friend group, but maybe also with a work group. That there's just kind of like a new element, a new idea, or new something that's coming in that's kind of a little disruptive for you. What's on your mind this week is the Queen of Pentacles. So, this is you trying to uh, keep your understanding of the material world and how things work. And this could be, again, about how things work within friend groups and how things work within work groups. But remember, you are good enough. This is your overall message here. You are good enough. And if a fiery climax is approaching, it's going to have to happen, which will kind of let the tension off or kind of expose something and bring it to light. What is just ahead of you is the Knight of Pentacles. So this is moving forward. Again, in the material world, you're just going to keep moving forward at a very, very steady, normal pace. We're not going to change things too much or disrupt anything. In your advice position is the Magician. So the Magician comes along, and I love the card in this position. To me, it's the best position for this card, because this is about awareness. This is about manifesting. And that's your advice, is to, how are you going to look at the situation that you need to get out of, and how will you manifest the thing that you want for the future, and which element here will you use? You get your choice of all of them. And the Magician is just asking you, do you want to use your emotion? Do you want to throw money at the situation? Do you want to use your intellect? Do you want to use passion? So you need to kind of narrow that down for yourself, but the world is open to you. And that's the message here, is that whatever this thing is that's going on, you ultimately have your final choice on how to manage it and how to deal with it. What is beyond your control this week is the Nine of Wands. So you're definitely going to be looking back after you get through this situation. And to me, this is kind of a card of you're seeing where you've been, but you're also kind of evaluating where you've been. And you want to make sure that this is the last time, you're learning the lesson so that you don't have to go through this again. What is your secret desire, or what you're trying to avoid, is the Ace of Swords. So it's your secret desire to maybe have, kind of this, this is like an aha moment. This is a mental breakthrough on this. And that's probably what you're searching for here, is just, what is your thought? What is the thing that's going to get you out of this? It has to be mental, it has to be logic. Um, and so I would imagine that's your secret desire. I don't think you'd be trying to avoid having that sort of mental breakthrough. In your outcome position is the Six of Pentacles, which somebody just had some of these same cards. You might want to look at Sagittarius reading Aquarius. This may have something to do. You may have a Sagittarius that's close to you that you're kind of entangled with some. I'm seeing just some of the same cards, not all, and I don't even think in the same position. But I always ask the person that I'm doing the reading for, where do you see yourself in this card? Do you see yourself as a giver, as a receiver? Um, and I would ask you that too. Where do you see yourself? Do you see yourself giving? And sometimes that's an easier position actually than receiving. So keep that in mind. That is your outcome, is there's going to be some sort of give and take when it comes to this entire situation. Again, for some of you, I do see that it's kind of a disruption for some reason. It came in as a person that kind of disrupts things. Will this come to a fiery climax? That's what your overall message card said. So it may. Just keep that in mind as you move through your week. What is hidden from you is the Star card, which is the card of direction, being on course. So whatever this is has knocked you, it's going to knock you a little bit off balance. Um, Again, if it's a person coming in, or an idea, or kind of a change in a way of doing things, you need to just keep in mind, you are good enough. This fiery climax may come to a head. If it does, the Magician is asking you there, how do you want to manage it? Can you manage this with your intellect? Which seems to be, you've got this idea of a way that you can do that. Will you manage it with emotion? Will you manage it with passion? Or will you manage it with money? It looks like you're getting all the choices, all the the ways to do it. So keep that in mind with whatever the situation is for you and how you will manage it. All right, let's get a final message here from the Soul Oracle deck. Final message for Aquarius. Admit your vulnerabilities. And that could just be admitting that to yourself, right? What makes you vulnerable? You may not want to say that out loud. Maybe you do, but maybe not. I don't know if I'm seeing a trusting person here in your reading, but might just be something that you're going to admit to quietly to yourself, and accept disappointments gracefully, which that card has come out also today. So very interesting. It's interesting for me to see the entanglement of all the different signs when I do these collective readings, that these life situations that come up, of course, involve people from other signs. And it's almost like I feel like if I could lay all the cards out in one big reading, it would be, and actually, this may be an experiment that I do at some point. You see the overlapping cards. It's very, very interesting. So, anyway, that being said, Aquarius, good luck with this situation. Whatever this fiery climax that comes through, whether that be mental or something with a person, remember that you are good enough to deal with it. The magician is asking you here, how would you like to manage it? And if it takes you a moment to have to step back and really think about that, then take your time to do it, because you're going to end up in a position where you are able to give, or most importantly, sometimes which is harder to do, to receive. And that doesn't necessarily just have to be of a monetary or worldly thing, but just it could just in an information type thing, that you're able to give, able to receive, and able to do that and in a balanced manner, if that makes sense. So anyway, Aquarius, I really do appreciate your time here with me today. If you're comfortable sharing, please drop me a message down below. Let me know what it is that you're going through. What tool did you choose from the magician to deal with this situation, and what is it that you have going on? I'd be very interested to know. I'm sure that because tarot is a template, it could be different things for different people. Of course, it definitely is that. So anyway, if you're comfortable sharing, leave me a message and let me know. I do post readings weekly, so come back next week and we'll see if this situation continues to evolve, if there's something totally new here for you. Also, if you like my reading style, please like and subscribe. That's really great. It would help my channel, and I appreciate that so much. And more importantly, it'll help you find me next week. So thanks so much, Aquarius, and we'll see you next time. Bye bye.